smoke some weed, and probably eat a sandwich.
Hello and welcome to Don't Bring Your Dog, a bi-weekly music podcast. My name is Carlos Lopez, with me is Taylor Fish.
Hello.
And yeah, we're finally getting this started.
Finally, about a year in now.
Yeah,
a year of talking about it.
A year of planning, a year of non-action, and it only took, a Christmas present and me moving away.
Yeah, and
to finally get this off the
ground. For some reason in our heads that made sense to start it now.
Yes. But before we get any further, though, let's talk about who are we, Taylor Fish?
Well, we are musicians who've been going to and playing shows in and around the Bay Area for about 6 years at this point. Either, me and you playing together in a band, or us seeing each other playing bands, or us just going to shows and seeing bands play. I also do a lot of show promotion and booking in Santa Cruz. And we've met a lot of musicians through that time, and we have a lot to talk about, just all of the bands we've seen.
Yeah. This whole idea of a podcast is basically, it's designed to kind of like document and celebrate and like shine a light on those bands from that, the Bay Area, from Santa Cruz, from that whole scene, that DIY local scene, and really showcase them in a way that's like, yeah, these guys are cool and they deserve recognition.
Yeah, definitely. And, exactly. It's just exactly how you said it. It's like just to shine some light on what's kind of happening in the Bay Area. Not just the bands, but just the shows that happen here too. So what is this podcast? How's the structure of this podcast going to work out, Carlos?
So I think the plan is the first half of the podcast will be probably you, most likely you, catching me up on everything that's been happening in the area since I don't live there anymore.
Right,
and then,
exactly.
Talking about shows you've gone to, or EPs that have been released, or what have you. And then the second half will consist of us having a guest on, whether it's a full band or just a person from a band or whatever, anything like that. And they're going to come on. We're going to talk to them about the music they make, and shows they've done, any funny stories or interesting stories they might have, things like that, of that nature, just to be, once again, showcase them and be like, hey, look, these people exist in your neighborhood, basically. Yeah. Check them out, they're cool.
Yeah, and a lot of these bands don't get kind of the recognition they deserve for as me and you know how much hard work it can be, just getting a band to show up to one spot on a single day just to jam for 2 hours. It's a lot of hard work to get everything rolling, and a lot of money and time. And, I think that gets kind of blown under the rug, especially since a lot of these artists make it look so easy. And yeah, I think it's more than due for them to kind of explain like how it all came together for them,
Yeah. Speaking of money, we don't have any.
None whatsoever.
And we're doing this all on our own, just like in our free time, basically, which is why this is a bi-weekly podcast, not like every week.
Yes.
And so we basically do this when we can. We both have very busy schedules, mine being so unpredictable, especially, and yours being just as unpredictable at this point.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a lot of bands and a lot of shows coming up that
So the reason I bring this up is asking you, the listener, to just bear with it in these early days.
Yeah,
in a sense.
And kind of our only means of promotion at this moment is sharing our Facebook page or word of mouth. So as much of that as you could do.
That Facebook page being facebook.com/DBYD podcast.
Yes. And then
you can actually go there. It's kind of a centralized location for us. You can go there and see the episodes that we've posted. You can see any documentation of us going to shows and reviewing them and talking about them there. It's kind of like a hub for people to be like, oh, this is what's going on in these areas.
Yes, any show that you won't hear about on like local radio or in a newspaper or like an event thing, really anywhere, you could find it on our Facebook page if you don't know where to look.
So let's say you, the listener, are in a band or are a musician. You want to be on this show, or you want to get something put up on that Facebook page to get it out to more people. Well, you know what you can do is you can go to facebook.com/DBYD podcast, and there's a mail us button. You can send us an email from there, or you can just email us directly at dbydpodcast@gmail.com. Both Taylor and I will get that, and we can start talking about getting you on the show, or putting your event on the page and blasting it out to more people, so it's a bigger success.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't, even if you can't necessarily make it in for any kind of interview, we can help on our end at least promote something.
Yeah, I think that the dream for me is to really expand the DVYD name. Putting it it doesn't have to just be this podcast. It can be video features. We can get a YouTube channel started. We could start putting shows on that have our name on it, because we want to bring all that stuff to light, basically.
Yes, by this getting spread around more, shows will get spread around more, and it will hopefully cast a wider net. Yeah, because one thing is like a lot of shows that we go to, you see a lot of the same people. Whether it's like I go to a show in Oakland, I see all the same Oakland people who I saw the last show I was there, or if I Santa Cruz, same thing. So it'd be nice to kind of direct people where to go if they are into this music and don't know where to find it, to see new faces at shows. And,
absolutely.
Especially because a lot of people, who like to go to shows also like to play music. And in going to shows, you meet people, start up new bands, new cool projects start up, kind of blossom out from that. And then
definitely,
eventually that will be on the show. So,
yeah, I think honestly, it's like one of the coolest aspects of this for us, for you and me, is the idea of not only just meeting, and talking to those friends of ours and, other bands we've met before and getting them on the show and having them talk about that music, but it's meeting new people.
Yeah, exactly.
It's being like, it's like, oh, this band's really cool. Maybe they want to be on the show, and they email us, and it's like, oh yeah, we definitely want to talk to you because you're so cool, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. And it's not just so much like, yes, I've heard the story that, like say a band has told me something or an artist has told me something and I've heard it before, but putting it out on the podcast for everyone else to hear. But I would love to be in the same seat as the listener of just hearing something new from complete scratch, just and meeting someone entirely new.
Yeah, that's definitely a big draw for us to do this personally.
Yeah.
But speaking of doing it, you, the listener, we need you to tell us, is this good? Is this something you even want to listen to? Is this a worthwhile endeavor for us? Because, we want to make it as good as possible. We want to make the best version of this that it can be.
Yes, exactly.
Well, yes, we are in early stages and we have limited equipment and blah, 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 blah. We can, we're still trying our hardest, and we want to make sure we're doing it right.
We want to make sure, yeah, exactly, that we're on at least the right path. This might not be the exact way that we should do it, but, we want to at least know that we're heading in a good direction. So suggestions and critiquing and all that stuff, just helps us figure out how to stay on the path.
So when this episode goes live, the following Sunday, our first episode will go up as well.
Yeah, and then when will they expect more episodes?
Like we said earlier, it's bi-weekly. It should be every other Sunday. You and I, like we said, have very swamped schedules, but we're doing our best to make sure we stick to that.
Yes.
And who knows, maybe if this is successful in the future, we can expand it. Maybe it goes once a week.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe it goes to once a month because no one actually wants to listen to this.
All to be determined.
Exactly. But that kind of wraps us up for the moment. I want to give a special shout out to a band called Best Buds. They're the guys who did our intro and outro songs. We should probably talk to them again to see if they know that they're still involved in this.
I'm sure Elijah knows. I mean,
sure
if not, you've bought all their stuff, right? So it's just free.
Yeah, I must have. I mean, I've earned a license to their music, right? That's how it works.
But yeah, so why is this called Don't Bring Your Dog?
Well, it's called Don't Bring Your Dog because if you bring your dog to a show, you're kind of a dick.
Yeah.
And so
don't bring your dog.
Don't do that. Real quick, one last thing. Best Buds, new EP just called Try Again Tomorrow. Check them out, bestbud.bandcamp.com. But yeah, that kind of wraps us up. My name is Carlos.
And I'm Taylor.
And yeah, don't bring your dog.